Finance Breakers put together this video to keep you updated on what's going on in the world of finance. It brings together news, analysis, and reports from a wide range of online resources, to provide you with the most up-to-date information about the global financial markets, empowering you to make better informed and more responsible investment decisions. Before we begin, if you enjoyed watching the video, please share your thoughts by clicking the like button and writing them in the comments section below. If you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, you will be among the first people to find out when new videos are published on the channel. So let's just get started. S&P 500 closes lower, notching a sixth consecutive daily loss and hitting a new 52-week low close. Key consumer report will inform the pace of the Federal Reserve's rate hikes going forward. Minutes from the Fed's September meeting led to optimism that the Fed might slow its tightening campaign or even walk it back if there was more financial market turbulence. The September Producer Price Index, a gauge of final demand wholesale prices, came in higher than expected. The print was up 0.4% in September, more than the consensus estimate of a 0.2% increase, according to Dow Jones. Federal Reserve policymakers agreed on the need to push monetary policy into restrictive territory. In September, the Fed raised its benchmark rate by 0.75% to a range of 3% to 3.25%. It is on course for one of its fastest tightening cycles on record at a time when global growth is on the back foot. 80% of traders expect the Fed to lift rates by 0.75% for the fourth time in a row next month. Inflation data due Thursday could likely all but cement those hawkish Fed rate hike bets. The Fed's quantitative tightening, or bond selling program, is also playing a role in tightening financial conditions. The Producer Price Index for final demand saw a rise of 0.4% from August to September, marking the first increase in the index in the previous 3 months. Even though there have been fewer disruptions in supply chains overall, prices for energy, food, and services have all increased. The rise in the PPI can be attributed to an increase in the cost of services by a ratio of 2/3, with the remaining 1/3 coming from higher costs for transportation and lodging. On Thursday, it is anticipated that there will be yet another significant increase in consumer prices. Britain's new government says it will not reverse its vast tax cuts or reduce public spending. Think tank has said the strategy will require £62 billion of spending cuts or tax increases. Finance Minister Kwasi Kwarteng announced £45 billion, $50 billion, of tax cuts and unprecedented support on energy bills without saying how they would be paid for. Markets have taken fright at the tax cuts, driving up borrowing costs and mortgage rates. More policy reversals may be needed to satisfy markets, a lawmaker has said. The mood among lawmakers is disgruntled but not hostile, with some speaking out to criticize her. Truss promised to engage more with their concerns ahead of the fiscal statement. Microsoft said Britain's competition regulator relied on objections from its rival Sony in referring its $69 billion Activision Blizzard deal to an in-depth inquiry. The Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, said last month that the acquisition could harm competition and needed to be investigated in depth. Microsoft said the CMA had adopted Sony's complaints without the appropriate level of critical review. The UK Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, has launched an in-depth investigation into the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal. The deal will require approval in the United States as well as other major jurisdictions including the European Union and China. Sony PlayStation reiterated its view that the deal was bad for competition, bad for the gaming industry and bad for gamers. Following the news that Merck has decided to exercise its option to jointly develop and commercialize a personalized cancer vaccine, shares of Moderna have increased by approximately 14% in pre-market trading. 6 years ago, the agreement for the vaccine, which is also referred to as mRNA 4157/V940, was signed, and then it was amended just 2 years later. In the third quarter, Merck is going to make a payment of $250 million to Moderna. PepsiCo's earnings report for the third quarter was released on Wednesday, and they were better than expected. The company also raised its profit forecast for the full year. PepsiCo's bottom line was once again significantly impacted during the third quarter by significant gains made by Frito-Lay. The snacks division of Frito-Lay reported revenues of $5.563 billion for North America, which represents a nearly 20% increase in comparison to the previous year. PepsiCo has stated that it anticipates organic revenue growth of approximately 12%, which is an increase from its previous forecast of 10%. On Wednesday, the value of the dollar reached a new 24-year high when compared to the yen. It remained above the levels that prompted intervention by Japanese officials the previous month. As investors pondered the next steps to be taken by the Bank of England, the value of the pound rose after a sharp fall in the previous session. On Tuesday, the value of the pound fell to a level that was its lowest in 2 weeks in relation to the dollar and the euro. Yields on long-term gilts continue to rise, with the 20-year yield reaching a new high not seen in the past 14 years. Governor Andrew Bailey of the Bank of England stated once again that the central bank will finish its emergency bond buying program on Friday. After Bailey's comments, the value of the pound dropped to a level not seen in the previous 2 weeks, which was $1.0925. It has since recovered. Since April, OPEC has reduced its forecast for growth in the world's oil demand through the year 2022 for a total of the 4th time. The slowing of economies, the re-emergence of China's COVID-19 containment measures, and high inflation are some of the factors that are cited. The expectation of lower demand provides additional context for the action taken by OPEC and its allies to make their largest cut in output since 2020, which took place just the previous week. In the month of September, production for the group increased by 146,000 bpd, reaching a total of 29.77 million bpd. Saudi Arabia and Nigeria were the primary contributors to this growth. Even so, OPEC is only pumping a fraction of the amount that was agreed upon by OPEC and its allies.